Hey, good morning, friends. Today is Tuesday, February the 11th, 2025, and the time now is 7:45 a.m. So, friends, I want to talk briefly about the situation in the Middle East regarding Gaza, regarding Israel and the Middle Eastern or Muslim countries. However, friends, I am focusing on Egypt specifically. Now, friends, this is my first video about Egypt. This video is a geopolitical video or a geopolitically related theme or concept video. Now, friends, if you are watching the echoing voice for the first time, if you are watching my videos for the first time, this is how the channel is set up. Every country has two playlists. One is titled Domestic, the country's name, and the other the country's name. For example, the country's name playlist is going to feature video talks, programs, or ideas that focus specifically on the country's geopolitical position, the country's interaction with other countries in its region and around the world. In this case, we are talking about Egypt. Therefore, the Egypt playlist is going to feature videos, programs, talks, and ideas about Egypt's position in Africa, in the Middle East, in North Africa, and also with other countries around the world, its interaction with other countries and institutions around the world. However, my friends, the domestic, the country's name playlist, or in this case, the domestic Egypt playlist, is going to feature video talks, programs, or ideas situation within the country. In this case, we are talking about Egypt. Whether we are talking about economics, infrastructure, food security, water management and distribution, and so on and so on and so on. Now, friends, Egypt is one of the giants in Africa and also one of the giants in the Middle East. If I do remember exactly, Egypt is supposed to be at least the largest country in the Middle East, the largest Muslim country, okay, in the Middle East. Perhaps not the largest Muslim country in the world. That, I believe, goes to Indonesia. Indonesia, I think, if I can remember exactly and correctly, supposed to be the largest Muslim country in the world with at least 280 to 300 million people. Egypt, I believe, is about 100 to 130 million people, if I do remember correctly and exactly. Now, what I'm talking about here relates to the Middle East and the situation in Gaza. In recent times, okay, about a week now or so, Donald Trump, the president of the United States, during a press conference with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Donald Trump made a remark, one that he called Gaza a hellhole, which as an African and as a black person who at least had been focusing on Donald Trump recently, I am not surprised. We are talking about the same Donald Trump who referred to African countries, Haiti, and some other countries in the Americas and the rest of the world as shithole countries or shithole places. So I am not surprised that Donald Trump referred to Gaza as a hellhole. Donald Trump also referred to Gaza as a demolition site, and he stated that the United States is going to take over Gaza, is going to own Gaza, and that the United States, okay, under Donald Trump's leadership, is going to turn Gaza into a resort, okay, basically the Riviera of the Middle East. And in doing so, the United States is going to have to relocate the people, okay, of Gaza, the Palestinian. Jordan being one of the places where supposedly the Palestinians are supposed to be relocated to, Egypt being one, and I also even heard Sudan is supposed to be another place. And if that is the case, no wonder why they've been doing as much as they can do to basically weaken Sudan. In this case, they are going to throw the 1.7, 1.8, or 2 million Palestinians in Sudan. which in this case, if it happens, it is going to backfire because Africa is becoming much more radical and African people are speaking up. Now, Donald Trump hinted during the press conference with Benjamin Netanyahu in relations, okay, or regarding the people of Gaza. He hinted that the number of people who are in Gaza to be relocated should the United States take over Gaza is about 1.7 to 1.8 million, which in this case, if it is correct, it means that about 4 to 500,000 Palestinians, Gazans, may have been killed since the war started. Now, friends, because of what Donald Trump said, basically stating that he intends, should the United States completely take over Gaza and making Gaza into a resort, the Riviera of the Middle East, that it means that the people of Gaza are going to be relocated elsewhere, whether in the Middle East, in Africa, or even in heaven. The Muslim countries around the world are very much angry, and even countries that are not Muslims countries are angry. Africa is angry. North America, South America, the Middle East, South Asia, East Asia, and even European countries are all angry because what we are seeing, as many continue to stress, is nothing but a genocide and an ethnic cleansing act that is taking place in the Middle East. Now, Middle Eastern countries, or should we say Arab countries, are so angry that many, even the most prominent ones that had been prior to the war in Gaza, okay, had been developing, okay, rebuilding relationship with Israel, are now angry. And we are talking about countries such as Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Qatar, UAE, and even Egypt, the giant of the Middle East in terms of its population and landmass. To the point where recently the Saudis even stated to the United States president and the United States that why don't the Palestinians get sent to Greenland or to the United States? So everybody is trolling everyone. In terms of Egypt, I do believe, since this war in Gaza started, is finally beginning to show itself, demonstrates its strength in the Middle East, in geopolitics. Now, Egypt is calling a meeting of leaders, Arab leaders, on the 27th or so of February. And they are supposed to be discussing the whole idea of what Donald Trump stressed, the relocation of the Palestinians, the Gazan, elsewhere. Now, friends, there is no doubt that the Arabs or Muslim countries in the Middle East are not going to allow the Palestinians, the Gazan, to be relocated. They are not going to allow it. But the fact that they are coming together on the 27th of February to discuss the fate of the Palestinians or the fate of the Gazan, however you want to say it, it basically prompts a question for me. Are they going to be also discussing possible war with Israel and a possible breaking of relationship with the United States and the West? Because whether Donald Trump was bluffing or not, which I do believe he wasn't bluffing, he was serious. Perhaps it is not a plan right now, okay, an official plan, but the idea of what Donald Trump stressed during the meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu about relocating the Palestinians and turning Gaza into a resort, I do believe that that idea is basically being stressed. Many are expressing that idea. However, let's assume that Donald Trump carry on with his idea or his plan to take over Gaza, owning Gaza for the United States, and also relocating the Palestinians. My question then is, the meeting that the Arab countries are supposed to be having on the 27th of February, are they going to be discussing, should they discuss, and could they be discussing possibly going to war with Israel, the United States, the West, and so on, as a means to either save face or as a means to either get up and say enough is enough. We are not going to tolerate what is happening to the Palestinians or to the Gazan, who are Muslims as well. So, friends, I just want to stress that. But from where things stands, Donald Trump, it seems, actually put his feet in his mouth by making that statement. Because not only that the Arab countries had not participated in this war in the favor or on the side of the Gazans or Palestinian people, in a manner as many around the world, and especially Muslims and people in their own countries, in the Muslim countries, the Middle Eastern countries, were anticipated or wanted. Donald Trump making that statement, I do believe it forced Arab countries or Muslim countries to say enough is enough. And this could be, okay, the meeting and the consequence of the meeting could be the result of them trying to save face, or the result of them saying enough is enough, and this is beyond saving face. This is protecting, defending Muslims, Arab, standing up for them. And I hope, friends, that you tell me what you think, and I want to hear what you think. However, in terms of Egypt calling the meeting, I think it is a significant move in geopolitics and in the situation, okay, or towards the situation in the Middle East. And friends, there are many prominent scholars and observers and commentators on international relations or of international relations who are stressing the notion that Israel is frightened because this meeting could mean a lot for them. And it shows, okay, that Donald Trump could have put his foot in his mouth, and the plan, whether Israel itself has such a plan to relocate the Palestinians or not, could backfire against Israel and in the long run against the United States and the West. But whether it is good or bad, whether it is logical or not, the fact that Egypt, an African country, a prominent member of the Arab or Middle Eastern world, the fact that Egypt is making such a move, it demonstrates the resolve of member countries of the global South finally standing up and making their voices heard. Now, friends, please tell me what you think, and I want to hear what you think. But friends, I am going to end here. I want to thank you for being a member of the Echoing Voice community. And most especially, my friends, I want to thank you a lot for watching the Echoing Voice. Peace.